I'm doing something a little different today, although there's still going to be plenty of great cards in these games. But I decided to try this one-on-one single elim limited 6 cube booster sealed deck. And basically the way it works is you spend 30 Phantom points to join, and if you win you get 50. Um, and in addition to that, the Phantom points can also be spent on Phantom sealed deck, which can get you grand GP points. Or, so down the road, it's kind of has a payout. In short term, it's just fun and interesting diversion. The cards are legacy, so basically the same pool as Commander, with a couple extra cards since you can play cards like Gifts Ungiven in this that aren't necessarily legal in Commander. So as you can see, I gave it a shot. I went 5-0, and I wanted to just kind of run you through some matches because they're interesting. And if this doesn't interest you, I understand. I'm definitely going to go back to Commander again, but I thought it'd be fun to just see some. Basically, the idea is that skills in Commander in Legacy-like formats should translate over to other formats that are Legacy similar. So Legacy itself also, this, I suspect this is why it did very well at Grand Prix Vegas, which was Modern Masters, because a lot of the cards like have a legacy or old school feel to them. So even though I'm super rusty and haven't played in a million years, I was able to just jump right into it. Um, so anyway, I actually ended up drafting in this first draft, I think a fairly aggressive deck, and ended up keeping a little bit risky hand going second. My opponent gets first turn Aether Vial, and I missed my land drop. I could have let off with Mog Fanatic here, but if I don't draw land next turn, then I won't be able to Sensei his Divining Top. So I don't want to do that. Now, I think we've talked about this before on the channel. Brian certainly brought it up. Bad players will top during their upkeep to find the land they need, for example, to play the Noble Hierarch. But that only lets you get 2 cards down, so if you miss, you basically have given up an entire turn. I, I waited and then top during after draw, which let me go 3 cards down using the top, plus 1 for my draw phase is a total of 4. And I did not hit um, a forest like I wanted, but I got my plane, so I went ahead and just made sure that I hit my land drop on time. And then went ahead and, because of tempo and the fact that he's got an Aether Vial going, and I wanted to have something on the board, I just played the top and the Fanatic. I know that if I looked right there, I would only be looking 1 deeper than what I saw last turn, so if I develop and then wait a turn, I'll get to go 2 deeper. So this was weird. He activates Aether Vial, the Bone Shredder, a Mog Fanatic. So I could have sacked to kill the Bone Shredder, but because it has Echo, which means he has to pay the cost again, I go ahead and just go 1 to the face. And I'm more than happy if he uses his... First off, he missed a land drop, which I noted. But secondly, if he had his land drop there, I'd be more than happy for him to use his turn up. So I dig, and luckily I do find a Windswept Heath. Unfortunately, I am going to have to give up the top for it, but the tempo is too important right here. It lets me develop very well. Put 2 mana sources into play right now is better than using a top, because what am I looking for other than mana anyway? So he gets an arena down. I have no pressure on him, so I can't really punish him for playing the arena. But I do get to play this Warden of the First Tree and then use his first ability to make him a 3/3, while also playing a Deathrite Shaman, which has the potential to produce some decent mana. I was really glad I played the Warden. I thought about sitting on maybe a removal spell because of his Aether Vial. I was really glad that I played the Warden because he was able to recur his Bone Shredder with Reanimate, and he targeted the Warden, and to me the Warden is not as important as the Deathrite Shaman, because I'm still crunched for mana. And then look at that, I drew 1 more, which goes great with the Shaman, it being a sackline and everything. And I'm able to make my play for the turn without actually using it. I play Freelise, and immediately smoke his... It's kind of weird, but you think I'd kill his Phyrexian Arena. But the thing is, he had an Aether Vial with 5, so he has, you know, the grossest Sol Ring ever printed, right? An artifact that costs 1 and produces 5 mana. I can't he can have extra cards if he's choking on them, but if I kill the arena and then he just starts tapping to put 5 and 6 mana monsters into play, I'm absolutely going to lose the game. So I have to just let him have the arena. And fortunately, of course, I am playing red, so unlike typical, I can conceivably punish him for the arena cards. So before I can block, he goes ahead and delves away a removal spell and attacks my Planeswalker and kills it. However, his life is actually getting a little bit low. I'm very fortunate in that I Bloodbraid into a Rampant Growth there, and I get to swing with a pumped up Bloodbraid thanks to Noble Hierarch. So he's at 9. He's not safe at all, and I made a mistake, and I realized it after. If I had simply gone for, instead of the second forest, I got it as a backup in case he killed Noble Hierarch, then I would need the 2 forests for the Oran Viper. But what I should have done was I should have gotten the mountain. Because if I get the mana, the mountain, and he does not kill Hierarch, I don't even play Viper. I just play Charm Strike Trail, and he dies. So the forest was actually a misplay. I should have played to win, as opposed to playing defensively, like around the removal that I've seen. Luckily, this is a very powerful deck that I drafted. So I'm able to just do nothing here with 2 instants and a Restoration Angel. He goes for Fiend Hunter. I let that happen. Because although I could protect it with Restoration Angel, my goal here is to win the game. I don't care about that creature. So I just want to feign weakness right now. And I do. He buys it, taps out, and that's good enough for me. Go 4 to the face. Restoration Angel, don't use the ability, and in for 4. I don't even have to use the burn in my hand. However, he has Bloodthrone Vampire, so I thought that he was dead here, but I totally missed his play. He sacks his creatures and then sacks the Revilarch, allowing him to put Fiend Hunter back into play. Of course, as you know, I'm just going face with my removal. Arc Trail has to target a creature first, so I got to kill a creature and then kill him. But that was a nice play on his part, and it was bad of me to have missed two different things in that game. Ultimately, not mattering. This is game 2, and my draw is excellent, so obviously I'm keeping. But it just shows that it is good to sometimes get out of your comfort zone. You know that my comfort zone is playing with islands, and it's good to get out of that and play other deck types sometimes because it helps to make your play stronger, I think, when you play against those decks. And just because who wants to get rusty at anything, any part of this game. So I've got this incredible turn 3 Thragtusk. He has removal, but, you know, it's Thragtusk. And he's under a serious clock now. Way behind. I'm developing all over the place, and I've got card draw threatening to occur here. The only reason that I went, like, heavily invested in the board, because with black and white, I mean, you could have a Wrath of God or a Damnation, but I went ahead and did that because I figured that he has 1 turn to find it, and it was worth the risk. Plus, long term, I had Sarkhan to make up for the card disadvantage if he did sweep my board, assuming I drew mana, of course. So luckily, I'm able to find a Rampant Growth. I still have Path to Exile ready to go if I need to play it. I thought about Boros Charming at the end of his turn. I opted not to. Thought about giving Oran Viper a double strike for a little extra damage in cards, but that's just too risky if he has removal. Then I'm really eating it on a play like that. He does have removal. So, oh, this was the other thing. Yeah, the indestructible ability of Boros Charm was the other reason why I was keeping back some of that mana. I forgot about that because this was, you know, earlier in the evening. But I was kind of concerned that he would sweep my board, so after making myself vulnerable for the 1 turn, once I drew my charm, I decided I was not going to do that again. However, at this point in the game, I have the follow-up Sarkhan. This was the point when I allowed him to potentially, you know, blow me out, something like that. Instead, he just has Mere Battlesphere, and I don't even bother pathing at the end of his turn. I wanted to see what I'd draw first. I knew I had enough mana to do everything I wanted. I'll go ahead and send him the team before he can block. There's a land for you. Now he's got a horrible situation where he's got to let me hit him or let me draw cards, and he decides to let me hit him for 4, which means that in very short order his ring is going to kill him. And I don't think he understood. He played Reanimate on Thragtusk, which should give him life, but I don't think he realized, and I don't know if he was holding that play or what, but the way that works is Reanimate puts a creature into play and then he loses 5 life. Thragtusk's ability goes in the stack, but he's below 0 and he dies. Under pre-6th edition rules, I think it was pre-6, you didn't die until you changed phases at 0 life. And if this is like a really old player, you might have been thinking, like, I mean, you have to be a pretty old player to remember that, but it might have been what he was thinking. I actually like those rules better because I think the rules now are simpler and they're more straightforward, but they're less interesting. And besides, I used to like killing people with Mirror Universe when I was in 0 life. Kind of miss that. So, kind of miss the ease of it. So anyway, this was my next draft deck here, and I tried to get back to where I'm comfortable drafting with islands, and you can see this is quite hell of a deck. I'm going second, so I decided to keep because I've got a card draw, plus I've got a scry, plus I've got a card draw, and I just need a forest, and I'm off to the races, I think. So, I mean, well, technically, if my Llanowar Elves lives. Anyway, so my opponent plays first turn Preordain, which is a good sign because it means that the Llanowar Elf might live. I draw no forest and scry a not forest to the bottom of my deck. And then I still don't draw a forest, but I draw Ponder, thank goodness. And there's Nerid Mesa, which is a forest in this deck. So I'm able to fetch Stomping Grounds. And next time I search my deck, I'll slow it down if you want to take a look at the deck list just out of curiosity. And he is ramping up like we're playing Commander. It's not good for me. However, so I thought I would play Edric and draw a card, but because he just ramped up to possibly 6 mana and he's got 5 cards in hand, I decided I'm just going to chill on Dismiss. And we can play Draw Go for a little while if he wants to like play around the counter spell. But I just bought myself a turn of him not using a 6-drop, and it seems pretty good. If I draw some land, even better. Unfortunately, I don't. But once I'm in for this plan, I've got to stick to it. So I do. And I'm quite happy that I made that decision because at the end of my turn, he tries to draw 3 cards. And instead, I get to draw 1. Of course, my shields are down for whatever he might have, but looks like he's a little bit flooded and he had banked his plays on that. So with my fertile ground, I'm able to develop. And of course, I'm not going to play Edric until I'm actually turning stuff sideways, so I play Troll Ascetic, a fairly safe card. And with fertile ground, I'm able to even manage to continue developing. He gets Elspeth out, which a little bit of a problem. It's very hard to get Troll Ascetic through an Elspeth. However, I do have this. I am going to, of course, attack and make him trade. I didn't think he would actually trade 2 creatures for 2 of my mana. And since my mana is actually, since I had the fertile ground last turn, I mean, he knows I'm hurting on mana, but I guess that's what mattered to him. But I don't necessarily agree with that play. So I'm able to fortunately play Shardless Agent and then Cyclonic Rift his last creature away. Which means Elspeth is totally unprotected. So if he puts guys into play, it's just going to die, which he decides to do. Great. It's dead. Either way, I'm happy. So I go for Edric, and we're going face. He's got trying to prevent me from drawing cards, and of course he gets to take a creature down, but I don't particularly care since it was a free creature anyway. And I continue to develop. Oh, I should have slowed that down, darn it. I hold my Verdant Catacombs because I'm slightly concerned. I don't know if he's gonna like maybe Armageddon or something. So I don't know if that might have been a little bit wrong. Unfortunately, I don't have like I don't have the green land. It's also a creature. I would have probably played my land and played some Zenith there. So he's stalling me a little bit longer on the card draw, but I've got a handful of gas of business spells. So it's not a super big deal to me, obviously. And down comes Consecrated Sphinx. You get to draw cards for free, and then with that going on, he gives up. So I guess, shoot, I guess I can't go through the rest of that one. But I think, was that game 1 or 2? That was just game 1 anyway, so I should go through the deck here, and you should be able to see what's going on. I'm moving forward a bit because I think that I recall the sound being bad on my last video. So I get a great draw yet again. Very nice. This deck was so good. This was one of the top decks I sealed decks that I built, but I think maybe not necessarily the best. So I ponder into Vendilion Clique. Now I have a Shardless Agent on top of my deck, and underneath that is Cyclonic Rift. So I'm going to use that information. First, I have no idea why he plays. Well, I guess he wanted to protect his Mind Stone. So he's just going to get crushed by Predator. With that information in mind, I decided that the important thing for me to do now is to just hit him with Clique. In case he's got a Wrath, I want to make sure Predator gets to eat that other Mind Stone. And his hand is this. No Wrath, but he has Armageddon and Control Magic. He's also got Elspeth and Baneslayer Angel. So it's a little weird here. If I leave him with the Baneslayer Angel, I know that my next card is Bounce, so I could just bounce it. I don't think Armageddon, obviously, like, that's no good for him. Since I'm going to kill his artifact mana, I have board presence and I have alternate mana sources. Elspeth, he could make some guys and then I'm just going to kill it immediately with one of my flyers. And Control Magic is a bit of a pain because, well, it's hard to say. He has to Control Magic Trigon Predator, right? I mean, there's nothing else he can take if he is to take Control Magic. With all that in mind, because I know Predator is is hurting him. But if you noticed, the thing about Control Magic is he didn't have 2 blue in his hand. So I take Baneslayer because I don't want the thing. I've got Bounce on top of my deck, right? So if he did somehow have a blue, and he's able to use Control Magic, which he'll be 1 short. So he wasn't able to play it. He had to dig for the blue. So I would have been able to bounce his guy, but I didn't have to worry about it. So I went ahead and just sacked the shuffle and cascaded into a Fertile Ground, which is acceptable, and then dumped a Llanowar Elf since I know he's holding Armageddon. I mean, Fertile Ground's not super exciting when you know your opponent's holding Armageddon, but it's okay. So he gets his Control Magic, but it's probably a little late. I go ahead and do 3 burn to the face, and then immediately attack him down to 4. And the purpose of this is, yeah, and then I burn him. Okay, well that's not quite how it went, but okay, yeah. Well, anyway, I know that I played the burn on his face, taking him down to 2, and then I played Temple to fix my draws. Maybe he just conceded here. I don't remember, but excuse me. There isn't a heck of a lot he can do with 2 life with this stuff staring him down, I suppose. So I keep forgetting to bring up the deck list when I'm running through it. But so feeling pretty good. I decided I'm just going to press my luck and keep going until somebody knocks me out or I get too tired. So this is a new deck, and this is what it looks like here. Blue, red, green, it looks like. It may be 4 colors. I don't remember for sure. But obviously another great draw. The opponent gets Lotus Cobra, but I've got a first turn Lightning Bolt, so we're able to take that down. And I move into Oracle territory. Yeah, it was 3 colors, I think, or 4 colors. It's a blue-green deck with red removal and this one black card here that has a blue side. So I was able to, and I had a bunch of dual lands, so I was able to make that work pretty well for me. So anyway, he gets Garruk out. However, I just take his beast and then sack my Mind Stone, immediately cast Jace, plus Jace up. He gives me Essence, Scatter, Forest, or Frailes. So I go ahead and just take Essence, Scatter, in the Forest. So I get to play another land this turn. I'd rather have like a counter. I'm in a good position here. Anyway, on his turn, plays Gaea's Cradle and he has nothing to do with it. My first deck actually had Gaea's Cradle in it, although it never came up, as you saw. So my turn, I'm able to hit him, Tradewin Rider, with 2 different kinds of counter spells that cost 2 mana ready to go. He goes for mana production. That would have turned on his Cradle and, as far as allowed it to produce any colored mana and produce mana on its own. So that was a double land destruction option there, basically. So he gives me these piles, double land or Fire Ice. I'm going to take the double land, of course. Craziness. I just get to put 2 lands into play now. I can cast even more things while chilling out on my control magic. So there's absolutely no point in waiting on using a Tradewin Rider for his turn or like the end of his turn or something. I bounce his island now because the best he can do next turn is play it, and then he's stuck on 1 blue. If I wait till the end of his turn, then on his main phase he could play an island and have 2 blue. There's no point to giving him access to double island at all. And then he very foolishly, I don't know, it seems foolish to me, but he plays Temple of Mystery. I guess if he has nothing he can cast, then the Temple, he might as well play it. But as you can see, I'm completely running away with this game. Now I have Glen Elendra backing up a Tradewin Rider. That's pretty gross. And I thought I had, oh yeah, and there we go, Chandra Noir and Jace. It's not looking too good for him. Yeah. So he basically gets to play his entire game where kill it, and counter it, and he gets to do nothing in that game. So that was a great game 1 for me. So game 2, I have a questionable keep because it's very slow. However, it's very powerful. So I decided to go for it. Here, when I sack that, I'm going to be very careful so that you get an opportunity to pause the video if you want to look through the deck list. Fortunately for me, he runs an Inquisition of Kozilek out using both a turn and a card in order to look at my hand and do nothing. Dang it. So difficult to, the problem is, it's very difficult to slow. Oh yeah. So anyway, this is the second sealed deck in which I have Edric. He got a Liliana, but he's using it to turn my land heavy draw into a good hand for me because while I'm pitching lands, he's throwing away like real cards. I have no idea who thinks it's a good idea to discard a Muldrifter, or did he play it and I just missed it? He must have. Like that's insanity. Who would do that? And he throws away Hornet Queen. I basically traded a land for a Hornet Queen. So good for me. So, and then I get my 5th land. I don't play the island over the Yavimaya because I'd rather pay a life to have double green in play in case I need to discard the vest, in case things didn't, to Veil, in case things didn't work out right there, but fortunately they do pan out. And I decide what I'm going to do is, now here I wait till his upkeep because I'm not taking lands, but if he has an instant, I want him to spend the mana before he gets to draw his card. So during his upkeep, I bounce Liliana. And the reason is, if he replays it and he shrinks it, I'm going to kill his own Tarmogoyf, but it's going to take his whole turn to kill his own Tarmogoyf. Then I'm going to attack, draw a card, and kill his Liliana. If he replays it and he +1s it, then I get a card out of his hand, steal his whole turn, and all I just did is discard an island. So I could have attacked for cards there, but it made more sense to me to make this play and try to basically, it's the temple play in which I steal, yeah, so he pluses it up. Get a Terastodon for an island. I'll take it. And I was really hoping that he would have pitched something to make this 4 power, so I could just smash in and kill this with just the Tarmogoyf, but that doesn't happen. So I send Tarmogoyf and Tradewin to take care of Liliana, and Edric finds me a card. And you know, once that kind of stuff starts happening, it's bad news. So I draw. Luckily, Oh no, I'm sorry. I sent Tarmogoyf at Liliana and Tradewind and Edric at his face. And the reason I didn't kill Liliana is because right now the only thing you can do is plus it up, and I've got a land for him to throw away. So right now this is helping me. Like, it can't beat when it's at one counter. The only thing you can do is make it +2, and there's no way he's basically getting Disrupting Scepter by him on himself, and I don't care even the slightest bit. So I go ahead and just make another creature, which will make it easier for me to run both Edric and Tradewind Rider. So yeah, I'm trading a forest for, now what did I get? Shieldred. So I don't know how he thinks he can win this. He must have reanimation, some kind of reanimation deck, and he's just not hitting it. But he's not going to get a lot of time. So I'm able to make another creature. I go ahead and bounce his mana because he's hurting for mana already, so let's make it worse. Play Ral Zarek, which lets me untap Tradewind Rider and tap one of his lands, which is irrelevant. However, at this point, I'm not going to bounce another land. Not when I could be drawing cards. So I go ahead and just finally kill Liliana with Edric, and draw 2 more cards. And find some good stuff, so I'll go ahead and put it into play. I mean, from here, the best thing you could do is like Damnation, and if you did, I'd have double Planeswalker and a Glenelender to follow up. So I wasn't too worried about it. He plays Dismember and kills my Tradewind Rider. You know that you've lost when you play removal, your only removal, and you choose not to target Edric and a Tarmogoyf. Yeah, the game's over at that point. So of course I just, draw four cards for the turn and plan. So that was a great second. So second sealed deck. So here's my third one. And this guy, I guess he wanted revenge, so he jumps right into a third one against me. Oh no, this was the same deck. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the third one. Now, this is who I played. Mui Prodigy. So, and I am playing. What's interesting is my first deck had it was so aggressive, and it had a bunch of creatures. My second deck had a few less creatures. My third deck had less creatures. My fourth deck has even less creatures, and my fifth deck had the fewest of all. I kept building decks that got more and more control oriented and less aggro, even though I think aggro is perfectly fine in this. My opponent gets a River Ball, which is unfortunate because I don't have a Lightning Bolt to kill it right off the bat. I'm going to have the Bolt, but not the red. He heads in and does a little scrying. Of course, I'm going to take the damage. Luckily here, I draw a very nice Impulse, which should be good down the road. But I go ahead and just develop with Mindstone Jace. I plus it up because I don't want to -1 it and then just let him kill it. I'd rather have him attacking this futilely while I search for answers to this and steal a few extra cards off this whenever I can. Meanwhile, him getting extra cards is less good for him theoretically than me because I have more mana. So I'm going to be able to spend my cards. He plays Gitaxian Probe, but who cares? And a Courser. Now this thing with him getting extra cards, it does change a little bit with the Courser. I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful not to set him up for some Courser shenanigans. But what's nice about it is I can watch what he's drawing. So that allows me to play around his hand. So I go ahead and just Impulse. And here are my options: Fire, Ice, Island, Forest, Old Man, and the Sea. So I'm going to take the Control Magic on a stick. And then I plus up, so he's showing Forest, which means he's going to play. Oh, and I've got a Force Spike. Unfortunately, I don't have the extra land this turn, but he just drew a dragon. He's going to have 5 mana, not 6, so what I'm expecting to do is to Force Spike the dragon when he gets 6 mana. And the nice thing about him having a forest on top is it's very unlikely that he'll have a forest underneath it or another land underneath it. So that means that, and as that's how it turns out, so he doesn't get to Courser, he just gets the life. And then he goes. Now here's the turn where he should be attacking Jace. He should have been attacking Jace the whole time, but he decides, yeah, here he's going to attack Jace. I decide I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of a risk here and throw Old Man in front of the 2/4 and see if he's got a combat trick. He does not, is really good for me. So that was pretty much his one shot at it. So I go ahead and steal his Courser of the 3 cards. The reason being that Courser works very well when you have Jace Beleren in play. I do hit a mountain right off the bat, so I start gaining life. I can kind of ignore River Boa, and Jace can tank River Boa, so there's really no good thing for him to do with the Boa right there. So I start targeting me to draw cards now. Jace has gotten out of control. I bolt his Chasm Stalker before he can get any counters on it. And we're in pretty good shape now. So if he goes for Dragon, of course I'll Force Spike it, but if he goes for Chromatic Lantern, I'm not gonna worry about a Lantern. And then for whatever reason he decides to get off the Jace plan and get back onto the Face plan. Now I don't know how that's supposed to be good for him when I've got a Courser out. He's basically hitting me for 1 every turn while I'm drawing a card. So what I have is a blue Phyrexian Arena in play. I think that's not beatable. So I go ahead and play Temple of Epiphany off the top, thanks to Jace's ability. Pump some mana into a Coalition Relic, just continue to develop. There's no point in putting down my Cryptic Command. I could Soar his guy and have a Force Spike up, but with the Chromatic Lantern, he went past 6 mana, so I can't Force Spike the Dragon here, and I'd much rather Soar a Dragon. Also, he knows I have Soar, so basically he can't play his Dragon until I play my Soar, which means that I'm going to play it when I decide that it's best timing for me. He plays Oran Viper and attacks me again. Crazy. Doing that, like, there's no way he can win this game, of course. Hit Kira, Great Glass Spinner. Keep that down right away, just to make life really hard for him and keep my Old Man of the Sea protected. And Jace right into a land again for my Courser. This time Mishra's Factory. I'll go ahead and play myself a Thieving Magpie, because what I need at this point is more cards, right? This is one turn where Cryptic Command's down, but I have Solar backup for his Dragon, and there's very little he could do. Like, again, if he played like Damnation, then it's not a big deal because I've got Jace running. What he has is Shardless Agent into Deathrite Shaman, neither of which I care about at all. And then he goes face. Now this is kind of stupid. He's sending an Oran Viper into a Courser. I have absolutely no problem taking his guy and blocking his other guy and killing it, and then untapping Old Man and doing that repeatedly until he's dead, until all of his creatures are dead. So works out great for me. End of his turn, I Arbor Elf my Forest prior to tapping my Relic, just to have extra mana up. And I don't have, I don't have Courser running anymore, but I mean, really, do I need more free cards? Not really. So go ahead and kill Deathrite Shaman, because I don't need him to have alternate damage sources. I hit him with the Magpie, so there's another card for me. Fetch an island. And Tarmogoyf. My opponent has Condescend for 3, which is crazy. I guess he's playing around Force Spike? I don't really know, but he's not playing around 3 mana, so I just pay 3, because that still leaves me with 4 mana for a Cryptic, and pass the turn. So, as soon as he goes into his combat step, I take the River Boa. Now he can't really attack the Jace. He decides he's going to send the Viper in, which is insane, but I'm more than happy to kill his Boa. Like I said, I'll kill his creatures all day long, it's no problem for me. So, I don't know why, but I guess he just, it was so many turns and he just forgot that I had Solar, or what. Or maybe he just feels like he's losing and he's getting desperate. I don't really know, but it doesn't matter. I'm able to Jason to a Garruk, Apex Predator. Of course, the play here is Solar is Kokusho. He plays Slaughter Pact in response on Solar, which would normally kill it, but I guess he forgets that I have Kira out. So I guess that was the deal. He forgot I had Kira out, and he was thinking he could protect his Kokusho, which, of course, he can't. Kira is going to counter the Solar for me. That's why I played it so long ago, Kira. And counters the Slaughter Pact. Solar steals the Dragon. opponent gives up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I had 9 mana, so I didn't have enough to play Garruk this turn with a Cryptic up. I'm winning, so I wouldn't cast Garruk this turn. I would just stack and do my thing. But yeah, this deck was pretty good. You know, I just loved the way, like, I just felt like I got more of a feel for the format as time was going on. So here's game 2. Or is this the one that did we just go through this? No, this is a different game. Yeah. So game 2, it's not a fast hand, but it's a good hand. My opponent plays Grolda's Assassin. And normally I'd wait for him to level it up, but because killing it right now also kills a mana source with the Gaia's Cradle, I go ahead and just fire right away. I'm not going to be tricky here. If I expect him to level it up and he doesn't, and he plays a 3 mana card like Cultivate, then I'm going to look like a real idiot. So, can we get past this? I guess Fire Ice is going to glitch. Right, I didn't target Grolda's for 10 and him for 0. I think this is going to bug out. I'm going to try to replay it one more time just because it was a really good game. I don't know what's going on. It was actually a pretty great game. Wow, that's insane. I hate Magic Online. Wizards is just totally ripping off the customers. They give us a garbage interface, and they don't care because they know that the customer is going to pay them. That's why I'm playing Phantom events and free events, because I'm not that guy. Anyway, unfortunately, you didn't get to see. That was probably the longest game. I did make a couple play errors that extended the game out. But in the end, I mean, on the next turn, I was able to play Coalition Relic and a Llanowar Elf, and then from there, I was able to do good things. And the end of that game, I did win, but I would have liked to have run through it. So this was my last one, my last sealed deck here. In this one, I drafted Oloro Colors. So hopefully I will remember to slow down when I get a shuffle effect, and you can look through the deck list more easily. Of course, you can always rewind the video and go to any of the times that I shuffled for any of the other decks if you're interested, and take a look at it that way using the pause button. Okay, so I had a splash of green in the deck, and I'll show you why later, but I took it out. So in this game, my opponent was able to augur a Bolas and the Lingering Souls. That is not a good thing. And because I had this card, because I wanted to splash green, and this came in and play tapped, I couldn't negate that spirit thing, which cost me a lot of life. I'll go ahead and indicate his blue, which turned out to be, appears to have been the correct play. And then, because I'm afraid of how much damage I'm taking, I go ahead and control magic of spirit. Kind of sucks to do that, but didn't really see a lot else I could do, and I really wanted to hit land number 6. So I took the spirit in order to make this play, jump block, half my own guy, go get my other island. My opponent plays Brago, King Eternal. Very bad for me. I've got a suspended Ancestral, but came down a little late. My opponent's got bounce for Consecrated Sphinx. I am in real trouble. I didn't have anything, if you take a look, I didn't have anything I could have got with Sun Titan. So that's why I didn't play Sun Titan there. Now he gets to Brago the Augur. What I should have done last turn was not play Consecrated Sphinx. What I should have done was play Mother of Runes with a negate backup. Protect the Mother for the turn that she needs to not be summoning sick, and then I could play Consecrated Sphinx, and he couldn't do anything about it, and I could have shut down his shenanigans. Unfortunately, he's able to Augur into Preordain. So I do find a Muldrifter, so I lead off with Mother of Runes with Tessa Waters, and then play Muldrifter. They'll land, and it seems pretty good. So he sends in Brago, and I decide that I need the Muldrifter. I don't need the Muldrifter, so... Oh, no. So, next misplay. I decide I do need the Muldrifter. I don't know why. I should have trumped to not allow him to flip the Augur, but I figured He's hit on Augur twice, so what are the odds he's going to hit 3 times? And come on, he's going to hit every time. And as it turns out, he does not. So that seemed like maybe I made the right call there. Unfortunately, well, I guess in hindsight it was the right call, because if I hadn't left the Muldrifter there, he would have treacheryed the Mother of Runes. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter what I did. Because he has treachery and the Time Warp, I'm just dead. I'm at 8 already, so he sends in the team, drops me to 2. He gets to Augur into a counterspell, Dissolve, and I'm never even going to resolve that Ancestral. I go ahead and play Consecrated Sphinx. He plays his Dissolve, I play Negate, and the only reason I played this out was just to kind of see what information I could glean from what kind of plays he might make. Because if you actually look at it, the Sphinx and the Mother would not save me. I would be dead anyway, so there's no point in him doing all this. He should have just let it resolve. When you have the win, you don't need to win more, right? So, but it did give me the information. I told him I have a negate basically, but it gave me the information that he's got far and away. So that's good to know for me. I figured him knowing I have negate is okay, because now I can actually bluff with 2 mana, where I couldn't before. After that game, I cut out the green. The only reason it was in there, I had 4 green sources that were islands or plains, and I had Deathrite Shaman in there. It's the only reason I had the green in there, and I realized in that game right there, I lost the game because of that splash for the 4th color. So I cut it down to just the Laurel colors. The deck ran beautifully. Of course, anytime you lead off going first with turn 1 Ancestral, you're going to be in good shape, right? So what I'll do is I'll just kind of expand this out so you can track what's going on there for now. Opponent has turn 2 Overgrowth. So he's got a fast start, and I actually have a kind of an awkward hand. But I decided that the play here is to disrupt him, because if I hit a land, then I can play opposition and slow down his mana that way. Unfortunately for me, he's got double Mana Dork, and I don't hit a land. So I go ahead and sack Mindstone, hoping to hit Plains, so I could just drop a land and cast land tax right away. Doesn't happen, but I do hit a land, so that's fortunate in the sense that I sacked a mana source to get a mana source, so I guess that works out okay. But he's got Primal Command, and he puts, he searches for Whisperwood Elemental, and basically kills my island. Luckily, I hit the turn where I get to opposition, and I go for a Baleful Strix. Still looking for Plains. I could have played opposition, but with 1 creature out, it just didn't seem particularly useful. And I'm really on defensive here. Plays Whisperwood, so nothing I can do there. You know, there was always a chance that double blue would scare him, but he's not that bad, unfortunately. So now he's going to start manifesting creatures. So I hit a Plains, I play the Plains, but he's even on land, so I've got to wait a turn before I can land tax and get value out of it. I mean, tax opposition is a play, but I said I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, and I'm going to go for Sorin, because if I can get Sorin down and start producing dorks, then I can play opposition land tax next turn, and it's much more valuable with 2 extra creatures in play, potentially. But he taps for blue, untaps his island, taps for blue, and has a counterspell. Kind of sucks there. So I'll go ahead and just take 2 from the manifested creature, having no idea what it is, and no mana to do anything about it. If it's sneaky, I just decide I'm going to chill out. Luckily, Baleful Strix is keeping his Whisperwood off me. And what a great draw that was. So Mother of Runes comes down, and Muldrifter comes down, both of which resolve, and I'm in a much more comfortable spot here. End of turn, he plays Into the Royal with Kicker on Mother of Runes. Obviously, since if he doesn't get her now, she's gonna threaten to turn that off. And because I can't just keep eating damage after damage, I decide I'm gonna throw my 2/2s at his 2/2s. This is card disadvantage for me because these manifested guys were free for him. If he flips them into a bigger guy, of course that's even worse. But you know, they could be lands or anything else. Um, that being said, I wanted to block two of them so that if he did have a big guy, he would say he had two big guys, he would only be able to flip one, and I could at least kill one. That's why I waited a turn to do that. And also, if he flipped a big guy on this turn, I had control magic to steal it. But I just killed two lands, which is really unfortunate, I guess. I don't know. That Whisperwood is a really brutal card. Amazing card. I go ahead and path his Whisperwood right now because I'm real sick of that thing doing what it's been doing. And I don't want to risk playing control magic on it because I needed a backup plan if he had another counterspell. And he doesn't counter it, so push ahead with Future Sight. He's got a counterspell. So Future Sight would have been more backbreaking, but he correctly realized that my removal spell was a bait spell, and he presses for damage. So whether or not his guy is a big creature, as long as he doesn't have first strike, Strix will kill it, essentially. So I go ahead and just make the trade now. I don't need to wait and see what it is. Turns out it's frickin' Ujin the Spirit Dragon. Luckily, I guess he can't flip it because it's not a creature. So his guy actually saved my bacon because otherwise he would have drawn that thing. So I go for Mother of Runes here. She lands, so I go for Sphinx. Yeah, I could wait, but I felt like he's already countered twice. And also, if you look at his clock, he's kind of low on time, so Sphinx is going to put a lot of stuff on the stack here. So that's another factor to keep in mind. So anyway, I draw two, and then he gets, and I was like, oh god, he's got Treachery again. Luckily not. This is one of the few times you're going to say, yay, my opponent has Karn. But Karn was much better for me than Treachery, because Treachery would have let him draw extra cards. So I go ahead and Vindicate Karn right away. And then I'm able to cast Opposition and Land Tax to find him. I've got an active Mother of Runes. He's got freaking Shackles. Colorless. So he tries to steal Mom, and I immediately tap down his Augur. No reason not to. Just take some damage. Take 2 damage there, and he gets Mother of Runes. But I did get to tax up, at least. So I cast Elspeth. Wait till he draws. And play quick. And he reveals. Oh, Electrolyze. Both against my guys have 1 toughness. He doesn't have a mountain. So it's a little weird here. I could have let him have the Electrolyze since he can't play it this turn and then just tried to eat him before he drew it. But I decided not to, and I'm going to take a chance. The next card he draws could be much better, much more powerful, but I decided to take the chance anyway. So in the other version where I had the Deathrite Shaman, I did not have Mana War in the deck. So I was glad. Although Mana War didn't do a lot this game, it did a little. So, but what I think has done a lot is not getting Mana screwed too badly. Anyway, so he gets in a little more damage. He decides to go face, which is great. So, or does he? No, I'm sorry. He takes a couple counters off Elspeth, but it just doesn't matter. She's quickly taken over with opposition. You get a Wall of Omens into more Mana Flood. Like, this is insane. I think my deck's only running 15 lands, so this is just really bad. And I decide I'm going to press for a little bit of damage. It's kind of Restoration Angel on his Augur. So he rests into Far and Away. It's not quite so good when your opponent has Elspeth, though. Of course, before he can block, I tap his guy. And after combat, I try to take it. I know it's only temporary with Vedalken Shackles, but if he releases the Shackles to get his tapped Angel back, then I'll have an active Mom on my turn. He does not, so I go ahead and just tap her now. And then I don't stab anything with Augur. He's attacking my face. I don't use the wall to tap a guy because I can use the wall to block a guy, so I block. and then during combat I tap his only source of black. To force him to play the Far and Away now, which he does. He returns his Restoration Angel to my hand and makes me sack a creature. And I misplayed here. I could have actually I think I could have sacked his Angel. I'm not sure how that works. I'd actually be really interested if somebody knows the answer to that. Since it's all part of the resolution. Don't really know, but doesn't matter. Anyway, I draw Jace, and if I remember correctly, yeah. So I go ahead and send in the Verdant and the flyer anyway. This was the game 3 actually. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to go back to game 2. You can check it out, but I send in the flyer and Jace turning lands into spells. I'm able to detentions for his shackles, which is fantastic. And I have Sower of Temptation ready to go, but I also have Momentary Blink, so I leave it alone. Yet again, he flickers his Augur, and this time he hits Time Warp. Crap. Fortunately, I didn't play the Sower, so I Momentary Blink right now because I don't want to mess around with him drawing a counterspell. And I flicker my Vendilion Clique and put his Time Warp on the bottom of his deck. And I guess I turned it into an Elspeth, but an Elspeth just isn't that good here in this situation for him, funny enough. So end of his turn, I tap his guy, steal it, Jace, and do a pretty useless mana leap, attack his Elspeth and say go. Forget to make a token because I only have 49 seconds. He's got 4, and I'm figuring this isn't going to come down to whether or not I made a token right there. I'm just in a bit of a hurry. I do kind of press a little bit because I don't want to get totally complacent and lose because I didn't turn my guy sideways, but he ends up timing out. That's how game 3 ended. I don't know why we went to game 3 first, just more Magic Online nonsense, but it was maybe game 2. I think what happened is I think I had it backwards. So game one I played it with the Alara colors, but for some reason Magic Online put it in the game 2 slot. Game 2 I sided in the green because I thought that I would need the Deathrite Shaman in the situation in which the board got cluttered up because it's blue white on blue white. Then I could do a lot of damage to him with the Shaman. But as you saw, of course, it lost me that game. So game 3, I went back to the Alara colors, no splash, and he would just watch that game. So this was game 2. This was game 1, actually. I'm sorry. So I thought I had a great start. I thought it was in great shape. He's got Thrun the Last Troll. Can't be countered. Regenerates hexproof. Real problem. So I go ahead and just blink my wall to dig for mana, and I'm able to hit Elspeth. So I do have Thrun the Last Troll blockers, but I'm not going to really get ahead on that. Can't control magic it. I couldn't mana leak it. It's terrible. And he's got a Time Warp, which means, and because I have this blink in my graveyard, I'm not going to block with the wall. I wouldn't let Elspeth tank for a minute. And then I kind of regret it, because he's got Shackles. But I make a creature, and I feel like, now, in retrospect, this was stupid. What I should have done was just said go, because he can't really do anything to me. No matter what he takes with the Shackles, the other creature will protect Elspeth. So I really should have just said go, but I don't. I go for opposition, and he's got a counterspell, which is a really bad thing, because now I can't protect myself with Mana Leak or Negate, and I don't have Momentary Blink mana up. He's got Electrolyze, so he's able to kill Elspeth outright anyway, and I can't negate it. If I would have said go, he would have played undoubtedly end of turn Electrolyze, and then I would have been able to negate it, at which point he would have dissolved it, and then I would have mana dissolved, and he would have been set. So now I'm in a pickle because redo can't really, like I decide that what I have to do is just take his freaking wall. You can just take it back with the shackles, but at least it's gonna buy me a little time and cut his mana down. Since I'm holding a mana leak, if I don't, he's got an ancient tomb, so if I don't, there's a good chance I won't get the leak at all this game. But on the other hand, if he doesn't untap the shackles, which he didn't do, then that's extra mana for me, and I'm totally cool with that. So I draw a path, which is fantastic. And because I'm in a lot of trouble if I don't find black, I go ahead and just tap that thing for mana and search right now for my one swamp. And if you, of course, back the video up, you can pause it on that screen and see what the Deckless looks like. Pretty doggone good. Anyway, but then again, so is Thrum. So in this game, I actually do have an answer for Whisperwood, and that answer is mana leak backed up by a negate. I've also got, now I've got my Vindicate mana ready to go, but I have no time yet again. I have to put out Chump Blocks for Thrum. So he's going to swing in. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and just gain a life there. He plays the range turn. Holy smokes. So I can't exactly negate that. And that means Sorin might die. And if Sorin dies, he's kind of my last hope for Thrun. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So top decking? Nope. So after a lot of thinking, I decide the only course of action available to me is Corvetto Conchacles, with the guy, and hope this plan works out. I could have indicated one of his forests, like his temple, so that he couldn't pay the upkeep on Deranged Hermit. And he would have had 1/1 guys, but if you like run through the logic on that situation, then I've got an unanswered Shackles. I won't have a wall. He'd have 1/1s, but he'd have 4 of them. I could chump and I could block, leaving him with 3. And I could Sorin up a guy, block Thrawn again, and then he would kill my Sorin. So over the course of time, Sorin would have died. By doing what I did and vindicating that guy, I get to make the following play this turn. So first he sends, but luckily he goes face. He doesn't go for Sorin, which is huge. So I get to make this play here. Double block one of them, block Thrun. This is such a good turn for me because of the fact that he went face. I didn't expect that whatsoever. And because I killed the Shackles and took the wall back, I'm able to flashback blink on my wall. So I get a card, and look what it is, Baleful Strix. So I take 6, but I gain 1, putting me at 4, which means if he has Lightning Bolt, I'm not dead, which is great. So now comes Baleful Strix, and we hit, Maul Drifter. And luckily I've got exactly enough mana to negate here as well, so I'm feeling pretty good. And look at that, 3 creatures up, and there isn't that good of an attack for him. If he sends a Hermit, right, if he sends his whole team, I'm going to chump Thrawn, I'm going to kill his Hermit for free, I'm going to kill one of his Squirrels, and I'm going to block one of the Squirrels, and Sorin's going to live. And so will I. So you can't send the Hermit, and any less than that is just worse. So he decides to go face with everything. That's just an awful, that's just a terrible attack there. 4 life for me. I'll trade a non-creature for a non-creature. Wall there. I'm not even going to play around with getting in Lightning Bolt range. I'm just going to clear all those Squirrels because I've got a Sorin at 6. And I can now destroy his Deranged Hermit, put it in a play on my side, and we can turn things around here a little bit. In fact, what I was planning to do is I could kill Hermit, Token, and Wall. Then I draw a card. I get 4 Squirrels plus another Squirrel for this, and then of course I can't pay the Echo. But because I draw Consecrated Sphinx, I decide I'm going to wait. And I'm going to Vendilion Click his hand and see. I want to see if the coast is clear before I make my decision. He still had a lot of cards in hand, and I didn't know what kind of tricks he might have If I kill my Sorin now and he has a trick, then I'm basically screwed. Like, I push to get Vendilion Clique to resolve, and he does. Take a look at his hand, and this is what he's got. Far in response on his Hermit. Ouch. If I had tried to use the Sorin, he would have protected his Hermit, and I certainly would have lost the game. Fortunately, it just puts Hermit in his hand. Excuse me. I can then put Hermit on the bottom of his deck if I want to, but is that really the right play? Do I actually care? Hermit's an expensive card to play, and it taps him out for 2 turns if he pays for it. In fact, if he plays it, I can just Sorin it and put it in the play to work for me. After thinking about it, though I at first thought I would take the Hermit, I decided I don't care. I'm going to take Restoration Angel instead. Knowing, of course, that he has nothing to do, I play a land and I go to cast Consecrated Sphinx and I realize I counted my mana wrong. I can't do it. Fortunately, it doesn't matter. Opponent is unable to get in here, so I go ahead and just gain another life. I don't want to trade the wall off for a squirrel by blocking, throwing the wall. Not when I've got a better play next turn, potentially. So Sorin's at 7 now. I could kill all but the Thrun, but is that really great? I don't think so. I know he has a Deranged Hermit in hand. While Sorin's in play, he can't really use that Hermit. So I go ahead and oh yeah, and that's the other thing. On his turn, he had played a Temple of Enlightenment and scryed the top card of his library onto his deck. So I plus up Jace to make that card go away. And in response to that play, he gives up. The Consecrated Sphinx and the Jace. Sorin is about to become, he's going to plus up again. Although we may be at a point when it's worthwhile to activate him. I don't know. Well, why is? I definitely flipped the game around due to his some errors on his part and some, I think, good play on my part, and I ended up with state control. This was a really fantastic deck. If you look at the card quality of the cards that I played, you'll see many cards that you would expect to see in an Aurora deck. Jace, Future Sight, Vindicate, Mana Leak, and effects that I've used in other decks, like mimics of Aurora worthy cards, such as Negate and Path to Exile and stuff, being basically, this is Muddle the Mixtures, this was the Polishers, that type of thing. So, great deck, worked out very well, and that was my experience with Cube Drafting, or Sealed, Cube Drafting, what am I talking about? With Phantom Sealed deck for Legacy. I may end up playing some more, just kind of looking over here at the Cube Boosters thing. Anyway, I may end up playing some more. I'm not sure that I'll do any other videos. This is kind of out of the norm. Most of my videos are usually Commander-based, but I wanted you to kind of check it out because I think that most of the people who watch my channel who play Commander and enjoy playing Blue will probably enjoy this format, and it's a really easy way to build up Phantom points or future use on things that actually have real prize support. I was able to get up to quickly build up to 322 play points. It only costs 30 to enter that event, so I could lose 9 times and still go infinite. Basically, I've gone infinite, and that's pretty nice. As far as the Allura deck goes, which you probably are here to actually see, no changes from the last video. I haven't played any, only because I just kind of, truth is, I want to take a break from Allura, and I'd really like to play some Edric right now, but I don't actually have the cards, so it was kind of neat to play the Phantom event and be able to put Edric in the deck again. Kind of got some of that bug out of my system. It's just fun to use cards like Traven Rider in opposition, Treachery, Edric, stuff like that. But, I mean, I love the Allura deck, it's great. I'll be playing some more and definitely recording more videos. But hopefully, some new tech will come out in the next sets. I haven't seen anything yet on mtgsalvation.com. I haven't seen any, I've seen a spoiler for the next set. It's 6 or 8 cards that they've spoiled, and none of them look like cards that you would play in here, but, you know, hey, it's only 6 cards. Maybe there'll be something in that set. So. Alright, well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you so desire, and I'll see you next time.